Hello, everyone. So I was thinking that I will probably do some sort of a video every time I have a live stream to kind of uh, really conjure my ideas into a video, and I think it could be interesting to you to listen to. So last Saturday, I was in a stream with Voltaire, our beloved based black guy. Oof. The other guy, and my friend puppeteer Joe. We talked about the uniqueness of the West. Joe started the first 20 minutes of that live stream, 25 I think it was, talking about Indo-European people and the difference between the Indo-European Huns and Mongolian steppe land and the two river civilizations, and kind of like how all that started, because it is the start of the West. And then he later came into the Greek people there, Aristotle and Plato. And my job later, and his as well, at least for a little while, was to describe after pretty much the Romans since the Romans up to modernity, to describe what happened there. It went alright, not the best in my personal opinion, but I talked about mostly that idea of God, Abrahamic religions, influences, and Plato's and Aristotle's influences of the West, where Plato has been the biggest influence of Augustus of Hippo, and Thomas of Aquinas having then taken in Aristotle. Kind of like to see how the West has shaped around these two Greek ideas, and with help of course, some lovely Catholic saints. Oof. Well, no, Augustine's can't be called a Catholic. He's a Christian saint, regardless. You know what I mean. And then later, I had the pleasure of describing modernity, post-modernity, and something we call meta-modernity, which is a fun little thing that doesn't actually exist, but we like to hypothesize and theorize on what can happen in the future. When I started describing modernity, I usually took Max Weber's, because I really like Weber, if you haven't figured that one out, this idea of modernity, which it's not about technology, it's about a state of being. And the funny thing with that, the reason kind of why I wanted to take that up as well, because it was in a Twitter conversation with some girl from Libya, because Voltaire had yes, stupidity. And so this Libyan girl, she said that modernity is about technology, and that if you are, for example, a traditionalist, that you want to remove technology. And then the funny joke went up where Julia Savola, a famous person in the traditional school, wants to remove your PlayStation 4 because it's modernity and you can't have PlayStations in any other form of state of society. Because everything is about states. The traditionalism is about a state of being, modernity is a state of being, postmodernism is a state of being, and then obviously ideas and theories and even technology of some sorts exist within that state, but that state is not the theories themselves. Yeah, funny. And postmodernity described, I don't know really what I described Heidegger and Dugin's idea of it. It was kind of like, kind of shite. Described Foucault and Derrida, which is like, also kind of shite. And then I got to theorize the meta-modernity thing. Kind of did that through an existential lens. While Joe, if he had the chance of actually giving this telling, it would be from an accelerationist point of view, which, I mean, he wants this like big, how can I say it, technology monarchy of like super AI, a perfect Nicolandian future. Other people who can, like, if you take Dugin, he would also have some sort of meta-religion, or the fourth position. It would also be some sort of a acceleration, but not to technology, but to tradition. So, because the difference between traditional school and accelerationism is one is more AI, more power to the machines. The other one is old norms and Neoplatonism, because they love Neoplatonism. What I described was something I call bounce back, which is an idea that if something goes into an extreme form of something, it can't sustain itself. It's dangerous to its own being. So after a while, after you reach the abyss of some sort, you will hit the bottom of the abyss and you will bounce back out of the abyss to some sort of stability, because people seek stability. That's human nature for you. So if you gaze into the abyss, the abyss doesn't gaze back into you, but it just hits the bottom of the gaze, and you don't like it there, so it bounces back, and you get some middle way. You don't get all the way, because bounce you don't never get all the way back up if it's not a beginning bounce, which means if the person is bouncing it from the beginning with force, then it will hit higher than it was originally. But because Western civilization is already in motion, the bounce back might not actually be as good as modernity or even older times was, depending. We'll see how it happens. But describe the absurdity of existence, absurdity of, that stability, all that kind of jazz. I wasn't happy at all with the live stream. Honestly, it was kind of shite, because I fluttered, went all over the place. Just I like to do that. I go in tangents, but it was just bad. Anyways, I think that describes most of it. So see ya.